She pointed to it. Those are her sponsors. She knew what I was talking about. And she knew that I had like facilitated that connection. And I can say so many times, you're sponsoring this child in Honduras, but to see it in their home and to see it in their hearts, it just made it even more real for me.
Welcome to the Empowered Life podcast, and we're so glad that you're back with us. And so today I want you to, let's start by imagine being in a position where you are building something that has the potential to help thousands of vulnerable kids. Helping these kids know that they are worthy of love and that they have a future of possibility. Well, that is exactly what my guest today is doing, for real. So Kate Walker, she is a leading voice in international orphan sponsorship. Today, at an age where most people are still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, Kate has already built sponsorship programs that have grown exponentially, and she is connecting hundreds of vulnerable children around the world to just everyday compassionate people like you and me who just want to make an impact in the life of a child. So with remarkable compassion and expertise, Kate has built a child sponsorship program from the ground up. And you're going to hear her story about it. And it has never been about a charity or just like a financial exchange for her, but it's really more about being a bridge that's very relational and personal and life-changing for everyone that is involved. So she has created this way of connecting everyday people and building trust and connections across cultures so that children feel really seen and valued and empowered to dream beyond just survival, but to really dream. So Kate spends her day listening to children's stories, and today we get to hear her story, and I'm so excited about it. So let's jump right in.
That's too
Yay,
kind. That's
welcome,
way
Kate.
too nice. Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, it's so good to be here and to have you here.
Thanks.
First of all, I see the fruits of your calling and your conviction. Like I see it, and you're going to share some of that. But I want to back the story up.
Yeah.
And I want us to see, how did this all get started? So tell us a little bit about your background and what led you into the world of orphan sponsorship.
Okay, well, honestly, to start, I have to say I'm the oldest of all my siblings. I'm the oldest of all my cousins. We grew up together, and I have just really loved being around kids. That's my passion. I love little kids.
So you were like Mama Bear from the beginning.
They all think of me as like the boss and like the example to follow, which who knows if that's always good, but it totally was true.
Yeah.
And I went to Texas A&M. Whoop. I studied psychology, and I always wanted to work with kids. That was like, there's so many different paths to take, but I didn't know exactly what it would look like. And I ended up doing a discipleship program right after I graduated from college called The Forge. It's through Pine Cove. I worked for Pine Cove Christian Camps all my summers, just as a counselor and doing media and things like that. And I did the discipleship program right after I graduated. So we were working for the camp, some doing retreats and stuff, and we were also doing seminary type classes and a ton of work with like identity. And
I want to pause and say, what led you to even take that step of like, you just finished college, but I'm going to do a discipleship program?
That's a great question. Yeah. It was a lot of personal life things at the time that I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Yeah. And I don't have a perfect setup of like what's coming next. And I really wanted to work with kids. Yeah. And a lot of doors had been closed. A job that I wanted, which we'll come back to, there was nothing available. And I don't know. I was
just a time of seeking. And
I was very prayerful. I was super young, and I didn't have anything lined up. And it was kind of crazy the way it worked out, of course, is I got accepted to this discipleship program, and I had already turned down a position to go back to camp. because I thought I needed to be a grown-up and I needed to get a real girl job. And when I got accepted to this program, I was talking to my old boss and told him I was doing this, and he said the girl that we had in position to do this leadership media role actually just quit like 2 weeks before camp started. We need someone to do this. Would you work? So I got a job also with
While
this
you were there.
program.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
And so I worked that program
Yeah.
all summer, and then I did the discipleship program.
Yeah.
But of course, it's all just God. Honestly,
Yes.
like I feel like so much of my story is me just being, I don't know, open-handed.
Yeah, surrendered.
Yeah.
Just seeking, which
Exactly.
is the way to live.
I feel very much like I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And I go with what I feel the Lord is leading.
Yeah.
And it's not like a super disciplined way to live, but it's definitely a way that I feel like the Lord uses.
Yes.
And unfolds really
I love
easily.
It. Yeah.
And anyways,
Yeah.
we could keep talking about that too. But at the program that I did, they asked us the question, who are you and what are you doing here? And in a way of like, what's your purpose and what's your identity? And there's a lot of ways that God has called all of us, and a lot of things that I know are true as a child of God, but that's not all of it. And there is identity that he speaks into you individually and has strengths for everyone. And that doesn't have to be a job, which a lot of people, it ends up lining up with a job because it makes sense. But that wasn't ever the case for me. I don't know. I wasn't looking for a job. Like that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Looking for purpose and direction on your calling. Yes. And what does that look like?
Exactly. So I didn't even say this when we were prepping for this, but I have an identity statement that we created. So it's like an answer to the question, who are you and what are you doing here? And I'll tell you, it's really cool. All of us like work all year on, coming up with this.
Yeah.
So my identity statement is, I'm a delightful companion who models the good life as I celebrate and herald freedom. So as you're like going through your life, you're supposed to reference that and be like, in what way can I celebrate the good life and herald freedom? As I'm like, I don't know, making any daily decision or big decision or whatever. You're supposed to like think about it. And honestly, of course, it's so much harder than it sounds to really reference your true identity in every decision. But it's a cool thing to have.
It is cool to just kind of realign, every day on, okay, remember, this is who you are. This is what you're called. This is what you're doing.
Well, and I was just so blessed to even get to spend a year thinking about that and like digging into the word and digging and like gleaning so much information from people that are smarter than me and much more studied than me and have lived much more life than me. And I just got to like ask them questions. Yeah. And our group was super tiny and we just learned all the time, all day. That's what we were doing. So we were encouraged to just ask questions, and
I think that's
really cool.
Something that every recent grad should consider, like, or really at any point in your life, and just to stop and pause and ask those questions. Who are you and what are you here for? Like, because it's so easy to just go about your day to day not knowing who you are and not knowing what your purpose is.
That, and it's so easy to have your experiences mold that and like guide you in a way that's not true or that's not based in like what you were actually created. I mean, I feel that like your experiences do jade you or make you feel a certain way. But if you're young and you're like, this is what I know is true, it's much easier to go back to that.
Yeah,
but
that's so good.
Anyways, we got to spend time in Israel and I learned so much, and I felt by the end that I was really confident that I wanted to work with kids. And it's just funny because I kind of always knew that.
Right.
But I still didn't have a like, this
but
is
how?
The job.
Like, what does that look like?
Exactly. Right. And so I did a bunch of random jobs, working with kids always. I worked at a occupational therapy clinic for children like on the autism spectrum, and I loved the children there, and I loved the work they were doing, but I was like a front desk girl, and I didn't like that. I felt like bored, and I had to call insurance companies all day. And so while I was working there, I was thinking, gosh, I want to be having fun and more hands-on with kids. And
Right.
so I found a job at the Dallas Zoo, which is so random. I worked in the education department at the Dallas Zoo and loved it. Truly, honestly. Thought it
Yeah.
was the best time. I got to like play with kids and teach them about God's creation and it's a really, really neat job.
Yeah.
And something I'm really proud that I did. But COVID came, the whole zoo got shut down for 3 months, and they laid off my entire department. Somehow, in between that, I kind of had a feeling that it was going to, you know, shut down and everything. So I had reached out to an old friend of mine, my family friend, who had a nonprofit similar to Allies called Orphan Outreach. And she started this like a long time ago. She had done different phases, very similarly to Chris, where she had just started in Russia, actually, and wanted to serve kids and built up this really cool program that I had known her through the whole time. She has a whole team, of course, now and everything. But I had reached out to her my senior year of college and said, do you have a job? I want to work for you. I don't have any, my skills is psychology, but I will do whatever. And they had nothing.
Yeah.
And so
but you were just feeling like to have an opportunity to work for an orphan ministry.
Yes, I loved
very much aligned with who you are and what you're here for.
I loved the work they were doing. I knew what they were doing, and I was like, that is good stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I knew her heart, and I knew that it was strong and biblical and not like, oh, we're helping kids. It was like, we are figuring this out. Yeah. And I wanted to be a part of it, and they didn't have a position for me. So that's kind of how I got into the whole discipleship program thing and working for camp and all that dibble-dabbling and other things. And I reached out to her again and said, anything?
Yeah.
And they happened to, well, it's kind of crazy. The reason they were kind of bumping up their sponsorship department was because of COVID. Because they are very missions-based and send a lot of people on mission trips. And you couldn't do it because of COVID.
Right.
No one was leaving the country.
Right.
No one was going on flights. And so the way that they interacted with kids and got to experience the help that they were, like the service they were doing, was through trips, and they couldn't do it.
Right.
So they said, we want to hire someone on full-time to really ramp up our sponsorship program. And they did have a small sponsorship program. All the kids in their programs were up for sponsorship. And they said, we want to have someone ramp it up, and would you want to do it? And we don't even know exactly what that looks like. And I was like so excited, so blessed. It was so random that the zoo job ending and the sponsorship program starting
Not
there.
Random. All God, right?
Not random.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yes.
So the timing was so perfect.
Yeah.
And I started working there right in 2020.
Got it. So before we dig any deeper, I want us to just pause because maybe there's some people who are listening and they don't even know what we're talking about when we say sponsorship.
Right.
Like, so tell me, what is a child sponsorship program? Like, just 101.
Yeah. So my experience is nonprofits that are already working in ministry, working with kids overseas, want to create a opportunity for people to connect with these kids differently.
Yeah.
Differently than just sending goods or money or support. And also being able to see what those things that we're sending, the impact that they have.
Yeah.
Somehow creating a relationship or an opportunity.
Like human to human. Let's see what the needs are and how we can help.
Yes. And an opportunity to witness God's work and growth and the children, changing because of this investment.
Right.
But the way that I've always had it set up is it's like a monthly donation, and there's always an opportunity for writing letters back and forth. So that is the way that they can connect and send photos.
Mhm.
And obviously you can't like force children in Africa to write letters, but from my experience, when they're receiving letters, they're like thrilled to write back
Yeah.
and to be a part of this. And
Mhm.
they think it's crazy that someone just in Texas wants to send them a picture of their
Yeah,
dog
be a
or
part of
whatever.
their life.
Yes,
Right.
and is
Yeah.
invested in them.
Right. That's
So,
awesome. So you're now in the orphan sponsorship world,
yes.
and what was that like?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I accepted the position knowing that it was during COVID and my work was going to be behind a computer, which if you've heard me saying so far, I want to work with kids.
Yeah.
I want to work with kids.
Hands-on.
And then boom, laptop.
Yeah.
But it was really Zoom based, and so my position was getting to interact with the international leaders that they had around the world, and just learn more about the kids and really develop their stories and get lots of good content from them and photos and letters and crafts, and partner with them in really fluffing up this opportunity for people here to sponsor them. And so that's what I did all the time. And I was talking to international leaders as well as getting the information. So we would fill out like a little profile form for each kid, and we read it and wrote bios of them and posted it online for people to sponsor them. And so my day-to-day was like reading about kids, reading stories about kids all over the world, seeing their little faces. And yeah, it was really, really powerful and really special. And
did you ever have an opportunity to go meet any of them in person? Or yes,
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was during COVID, I was like wanting to travel so bad. I was single and like not
just wanna
afraid.
explore the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I would say every time they had opportunity, I would say, please send me, please, please.
Yeah.
I want to go like wherever. Any place that you serve, I will just hop on a plane. And the opportunity that I had was to go to Honduras.
Okay.
And it was crazy. Someone bailed off the trip last minute for some health reason. Like they got sick. And they called me and said, do you want to leave in 4 days?
Yes.
For Honduras.
Yeah.
And I said, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the plane. I'm so happy. I like got some new hiking pants and got on the plane.
Let's go.
And it was so life-changing and like magical, but also really concrete. Like it made me feel like this work that we're doing is good and this makes sense and the Lord is in this. And
So
me
it's
being
like you saw it from Zoom and from your computer, but now you see it.
Yes.
Well,
it's so reinvigorating of like I can just be sitting in my little cubicle doing this and it really starts to feel a little mundane.
Yeah.
Or my job is never mundane. It's honestly really life-giving. And whenever I tell people what I do, they're like, that is like so crazy that that's what you get to do on a daily basis. And it really is very like special that I'm doing something that is so life-giving. But going there made it totally reinvigorated. And
what did you see?
yeah, one of the stories that's my favorite thing to share is we did like home visits for some of the families that the program was serving. And honestly, I felt a little uncomfortable like with the idea of a home visit. I didn't want it to be like a, I don't know, show and tell of their poor house, or they lived in a really, like it was just sheet metal leaned up against other sheet metal. And I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to invade their privacy or I don't know. I was happy. I wanted to just feel like we were giving them like honor. And but anyways, when we got there, they were so thrilled to have us. They were so kind. They had obviously like cleaned up and let us sit on their little like not couch but piece of wood they had a sheet over. And they were so sweet, and we were just chatting with them. They were obviously speaking Spanish, so we had a translator. And it was a mom and 4 kids, and the dad worked. They told me selling firewood was his job, but after we had been there for a while, they kind of showed us that literally the firewood to me was like sticks, selling firewood,
No.
that he would go up into the mountains and gather sticks that he could carry down and sell it. That was
Wow.
how he
That was
provided
their
for his whole
livelihood.
family. And he
Wow.
would be gone for a long time because he would be like gathering. I don't know.
Right.
But mom, 4 kids were there. And she was so kind and asked me, what do you do? Like, what's your job with the organization that they knew that we were like a part of and
Yeah.
had traveled with? And so I started talking about sponsorship and just said I coordinate all the sponsorship, relationships, countryside, and in America. I make sure that they get the letters that they need and the profiles or whatever. I was explaining. And the little girl caught on to what I was saying. And she, while I was talking, really before I finished, she grabbed my hand and pulled me over to the wall, and like it is pretty much a dirt wall, kind of like dirt kind of cinder blocks, and they had one little bulletin board that had a picture of her from like school and like something that she made at school, and a couple pictures of this family from Texas, a picture of a little boy with like his birthday cake and their family. And she pointed to it. And the mom said to me, those are her sponsors. She knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And she knew that I had like facilitated that connection. And I had it was totally the Lord that had got me into that house. I had no clue what family we were going to see. It was not something that we set up, that these were sponsored kids or anything like that. It was just, she picked up on it and was like, I see what you're doing. And it was to the point where it made such an impact on her and her family that they had it up in their little house that they...
So it was special to her. Like,
Yes.
you could just see it.
Yes.
You saw it firsthand.
And she talked to me about them, and she knew all about them, and she knew their names, and she knew their dog, and everything. Like, it was an impactful relationship for her and her family. And
so how did that change things for you?
I can say so many times, you're sponsoring this child in Honduras or whatever, and I can email and WhatsApp information all day long. And I know that it gets to them because they give me reports and they give me, they even give me photos of the kids with the letters or whatever. So I know it's happening, but to see it in their home and to see it in their hearts and to know they were making the connection all the way through, it just made it even more real for me. And it made it even more powerful that this connection is happening. And the leaders and the translators had said to me, the culture of the children here is really shy, quiet. They don't make eye contact. They are not taught to connect with you, or no one's saying that no one shakes hands. No one's trying to have these kind of, they just are
more reserved.
Super reserved. And the children that we got to encounter were not like that. They were very proud of their work. They were very excited to see their teachers. And I said, only the children who are part of these programs have this kind of behavior.
Really?
Yes.
So they attributed that just confidence and outgoingness to what sponsorship had done.
We were, visiting homes with some of the teachers and stuff, and little girls would come down the street and be like, hola, and be so excited to talk to them, and they thought they were their BFFs, and that was not the culture. And even you could tell, in the parents, that wasn't something that they instilled in them. They were pretty reserved and pretty quiet, and the kids were learning this, character building qualities by being a part of the program. And I didn't really get that. I didn't understand the impact that having someone on your team makes on a kid. I knew
somebody sees you, somebody cares, somebody is speaking life over you, and what kind of impact that can have on a child that's living in these kind of conditions.
Right. I knew that we were sending them food and shoes, and they get school supplies, and
Mhm.
they're a part of different activities and cool opportunities for them. But that is necessary and has an impact. But the impact that someone literally saying, I care about you and I believe in you and
Mhm.
I'm going to be here next week
Mm.
and I'm going to say it again. That is transformative to these kids.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's not the case for their parents.
Mhm.
And sometimes they don't have anyone on their team.
Right.
And
So this is what sponsorship, what you've seen, it's adding another person on their team.
right.
I love that idea.
It's adding another person on their team. And it's like silly, but they kind of value this international person. They're like, it's extra cool. It's extra special that someone I don't know. Why would they care about me?
Yeah.
Cares about me.
Yeah.
And is thinking about me, is praying for me, and like that's enough. But also has the opportunity to really speak life into them and to get to know them and say, I have seen you grow in these ways, and I know that you can do whatever you want to do. And to like be specific to that child is really,
Huge.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really,
That's
really
huge. What do you wish more people knew about orphaned and vulnerable children that you got to see in the work you've done?
That's a great question. What I what I love, what I preach about the most is all the kids come from totally different backgrounds and different cultures and different lives and different stories, and some of them are true orphans, some of them are, you know, social orphans where their parents, they've been taken away from their parents for some reason, or some of them grow up in orphanages that are more like government run facilities that are really cold, and the goal of them is to keep them alive.
Just
and
survival.
Which is, I mean, it's better than not,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a place where they learn to thrive or learn to become functioning members of society. And like, some of the experiences that I have are just by asking kids questions. I don't like talk to them directly often, but I make a lot of like profile forms and a lot of letters for them to write. And I've learned things like, I can't put on there, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because they don't know. They, a lot of the time, like really recently, I got some new kids from Zambia, and I put on the form, what do you like to do for fun? And the like contact that I have there messaged me back. The answers are not great because their answers are take care of the goats and, you know, water our like plant, go get water from the well, because that's all they know. They don't even know what fun like is. They can't imagine, what do I want to be when I grow up? Like, they don't have that in their village. All of their family just continues to stay alive and take care of the
There's
next.
no time for dreaming.
No time for dreaming. They don't even know what dreaming is.
Right.
They don't have a concept of what do you want to be when you grow up. They're like, alive.
Yeah.
And
I remember once you told the story about how a lot of kids would say pilot. They want to be a pilot.
Yes.
Because that's the only thing they've ever seen.
They've seen
planes fly over, and they're like, oh, that's
what
a
is
job that I could maybe have that's different than anything I've ever seen.
Yes.
Because they just don't have exposure to.
No clue. Why would they?
Yeah.
Some of them will say truck driver because they've seen a truck drive to their village and back, probably with missionaries or volunteers. And they're like, you can drive trucks? Like, that's all they know.
Yeah.
Truly.
Just opening their eyes to anything outside of their day-to-day. Yeah.
So, like, asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's almost like demeaning because they're like, what do you mean? They have no clue. So some of them, that's not true, but what has been cool is after I've done the program for a few years, they are exposed to more and more. And we will do like classes where they will learn about inventors. And you can invent anything you want. And the kids will come up with little things with like sticks and mud and invent things. And slowly they'll start to know more and more like, I want to write a book. And they will be like, I've read books now. I've been exposed to books and I can write a book.
Wow.
And so even if it's such small things, sometimes the slight exposure really does open their eyes to, I can do new stuff.
Right.
And
so powerful.
It's really crazy. I mean, one of my favorite stories is there's a program that I was a part of in Guatemala that really focused on STEM and teaching the kids how to use a computer and things like that, because that's employable.
Yeah.
And so they lived in a really gang-heavy part of Guatemala, and in order to keep these kids out of gangs, they came from school to learn how to code and how to do, I don't know, whatever other computer engineering type stuff. And then hopefully those kids could get a job and not be a part of a gang when they graduated.
Right.
So one of the kids said, like on his profile form, he said, I want to be an engineer when I grow up. And I mean, I think he's probably the only kid I've ever had that even knew what an engineer was.
Yeah, right.
So I thought that was really cute, and I put it on the website as part of his profile. And
So he was a kid that was up for sponsorship.
Yes, he was a part of a program up for sponsorship. And he had, a ton of other information about him too. I just threw that in there because I thought it was really cool. And a man sponsored him online, not associated with us at all, just found his profile, and he was an engineer. And I mean, stereotypical to engineers, he wasn't super warm and fuzzy. He wasn't like so excited to be a part of this. He just started writing this kid, and he was a consistent letter writer to this boy, and would ask him, like, first letter, he said something along the lines of, what kind of engineer do you want to be? And the child, he really was so young, like 9, responded, I don't even remember, the type of engineer that he wanted to be. And the guy started helping him and saying,
Just through letters
back and forth that I was facilitating. And I mean, part of my job is reading all the letters to make sure that they are, safe and they don't say anything they shouldn't on both sides. And so I was like, a part of this conversation. I was so excited about it. And he would send him things to read about engineering. He would send him different cool ideas and stuff. He would even send, like, he sent him little pictures of, like, electrons. And he even sent him, like, find a paper clip and a little battery, and you can create a little circuit, and gave him ideas to do.
Like little projects.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Science experiment.
Yeah.
And I was like over the moon about it. And I even tried to contact the guy to hear a story or whatever. And
because you're seeing this impact kind of unfold.
Oh, I just thought it was so cool. And I wanted him to know how impactful it was and how cool, like, not all sponsorship relationships are so like detailed or that's so niche. But I contacted him. He was like, what? Of course I would do this.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer. That's why I sponsored him. I want him to learn more about engineering. And it was just like very matter of fact, very humble. And I loved it even more because it made me just so happy that it was so natural and so genuine.
It was a simple thing for him to do, but he maybe didn't understand the gravity of what that simple thing was doing in this life.
Totally. And had that boy ever really talked to an engineer? Probably not.
Right.
And had a connection to an engineer in the States? Definitely not.
No.
So it was just really, that's one of my favorite.
That's huge.
Like relationship stories of
so
just
cool.
very small, genuine things that really can have a huge impact on these kids.
So you've been a part of different orphan let me reword that. You've been a part now of sponsorship programs and had experience in many different ones. So what makes Allies unique, or what have you seen that the Ally sponsorship program does differently?
That's a great question. There was no sponsorship program when I got hired on. They were serving thousands and thousands of children, and they had kind of attempted sponsorship before, and it is hard to maintain because it's just constant back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I brought the knowledge that I had from working before, and Tatiana, I don't know if you've talked about Tatiana in here enough for people to know, she has a vision, and she really just has the connections that it takes to maintain these relationships. And our program is amazing because of the Allies mentoring program that already exists. So
this just comes along and supplements what mentors are doing in the lives of these kids.
These kids are served by the mentoring program already. They are a part of the monthly program. They get to have these connections with the in-country volunteers every month, which is what I think is really powerful. And we also just, supplement what they need. So any physical things that they need, or they can ask for, like just this week I got a message that was like, this family is really struggling. Can we add these 2 other kids to the program so that they can get shoes and school supplies and stuff when the sponsorship people come? And I was like, sure, add them in. So it is very something. It's really hard to describe the sponsorship program because it's so based on what that program needs and what those children need and which country we are.
So it's very individualized. So it's not just one size fits all.
Correct.
It's based on the need.
And something that's really special about Allies sponsorship program too is the consistency at which we get content and reports back on the kids. Like they report every month, and we get photos, videos, crafts, whatever, every single month. And it's so much. It's so much. And it's so cool you're not missing any time. Like it's not like, oh, she grew so much in the last year. Like you saw her last month and you saw the picture of her, and it is very constant. So that's crazy. And honestly, when I started, I was like, this is gonna be a lot. And I didn't even believe that the team that Tatiana had would be capable of sending, and they are. They do it, and they are just as committed as anyone here. Like they want to be a part of this, and they want to serve the kids. And if they believe in sponsorship, and they think if we can get more people on board to help serve these kids, then they want to do whatever it takes.
Well, and they're seeing directly the result of sponsorship. So they're personally invested in it.
Yes.
So you would say that it's much more than just a transaction. It's not just a financial, it's donation that is.
No.
And even a financial donation is huge, and that helps and is needed to provide.
You can't do any of it without that part.
But this goes well beyond that in the relational connection.
Absolutely. I mean, much to my banker husband's chagrin, I'm not a money person. I'm not a financial person. I'm not even like worried about that. I should be. And I'm so glad that sponsorship allows that to be part of this, supporting these kids. But that is totally not where my heart is. I love that people get to be a part of a child's life. And like, if you don't have the opportunity to travel to Peru and that's not something that you're set up for financially, or you physically can't, or, I mean, you're too busy or whatever. There's so many reasons why you couldn't. This is a way to get connected to those kids and to feel a part of something bigger than yourself. And it's not even a huge financial commitment. It's not like you have to be dishing out tons of time or money or something. You get to be hands-on quickly. Like, I'll send you their information the next week if you decide to be a part of it. So you start getting stuff immediately and getting to see the what the impact that you have.
That's huge.
It's really cool.
So, our family recently sponsored, and I haven't told that full story, but I will one day.
You need to.
Yeah. So Edith is her name, from Peru. And so our family sat down and we all wrote letters to her. And just told her a little bit more about us, and we got together some little gifts and stuff because I had the opportunity to travel to Peru, so I was going to get to meet her while we were there. And right when we walked into the orphanage, I saw her.
You knew who she was.
I knew who she was because I had been given a picture of her. Of course, she didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
She hadn't been told yet.
Oh, really? Had a sponsor at all. That's sweet.
And so the whole time we were there, we're meeting with the mentors and just encouraging them. And I kept making eye contact with her. And I knew at the end of our time that we were going to get to meet her. And my daughter was with me in Peru. And so we got to go up and introduce ourselves and just tell her, we're your new sponsor family. And I know that, not everyone who does sponsorship is going to have the opportunity to get to do that face to face. However, it is cool that through Allies you can
totally
make that a reality. But I'm just so grateful that I got to do that, and we got to hug her. And then she surprised us and said, I want you to come to my home. And so we went to her house, and she wanted to show us around and introduce us to her mom and her dad. And
how sweet.
It was, I will never forget it. And one of the most special moments when we were wrapping up, the dad said, can I say something? We had a translator.
Right.
And we were like, yeah. And he's like, I have always believed that Edith has the potential to do more than any of us have ever been able to do, that she could actually, get out of this life and and maybe go to college one day. And he said, and now because of sponsorship and Allies, I feel like it's a reality. Like, I feel like she really can.
I love that so much.
And then her mom said, can I say something? And we're like, please.
Of course.
And she said, I just wanted to say thank you for choosing her.
No way.
Thank you for choosing her.
Oh my gosh.
And what's so cool is the reason we chose her was because of her name.
Right.
And so my name's Meredith and her name's Edith. So her name is the same as mine minus the MER. And it just felt this instant connection to her. And so.
Well, my thought on that is the dad had the feeling that she was capable of more. But I think that's just the Lord putting on his heart, this is coming.
Yeah.
And she's going to get to be a part of something.
But you think about that mom and dad, and they feel it in their heart, and they know. But to have other people, you need a tribe.
Yeah.
I raised teens. I needed a tribe. I couldn't just do it by myself. I needed other people to surround my kids and to pour into them too.
Right.
And they do. I mean, they need other people because they're focused on survival.
Trying to stay alive.
Yeah. And so.
And keep their kids alive.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
see, I mean, the thing is, every sponsor could have a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
That really is the impact that it makes on the kids and the families, and they feel that strongly about putting their children in a position to thrive. Or the children, the kids that I've talked to even feel like they know that education and relationships like this are the key to getting out of, whatever
poverty or whatever
situation they're in, and
right.
to be able to provide that to thousands and thousands of kids is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, so I know, Kate, that you are a new mama, and I want to know, how has being a mom of your own, how has that impacted your work, and how does that change things for you?
There's nothing that I wanted more in life, honestly, than to be a mom. And having my son just feels like the biggest privilege and honor to love him and to be there for him. And it has just developed a richness to my life and a understanding. I mean, it makes me think all moms are superheroes because of how hard it's been. But also just how natural it is for me to want to give everything to him.
Yeah.
And to know that that's not the case for all kids. And that's not the situation that a lot of these kids are in. And I mean, I wish that every kid could feel that and could have a mom that like willingly lays down their lives for them. But if there was a tiny bit of that, of the love that they can feel, this unconditional love, and exposing them to someone that's there for them and on their team, not because of anything that they've done and not because of that they've earned it, but just because they are children of God and they are beloved in his eyes. I don't know. It really has transformed my view of all like these kids that are in these really hard situations. And like empowering even moms when we can to love their kids and like being able to say to a child, you are worthy. Sometimes the moms are like, oh yeah, they are. I don't know. Like they've never even thought that either. So it's putting this kind of emphasis on children and
their worth,
families
their
and and what they're capable of.
So now you're getting to be hands-on with children, which has been what you've wanted to do all along, but it's with your own child.
Exactly.
And you're getting to be this like kingdom connector is how I see you, of just like making these connections of these children that need mamas, you know, and maybe not physical mamas, but just people in their life, speaking life over them. And you're taking these kids and you're taking these adults and people on the other side of the world and saying, let's bridge the gap.
Well, the truth is I can only do so much. I'm one person. And now as a new mom, I'm a much busier person.
Yes, true.
But being able to be on those trips and also see the impact that in country, like at their home, in their village, in their orphanage, whatever, these people that are consistent to them, being able to empower those people to do the same work, it's such a bigger scale. Like I can, mentor a child or love on my own child, but to have people all over the world, like empowering those people, I feel like that is where the magic happens. That's where God can really work. Is setting those people up for success.
That's so good. So if you're listening and you're like, oh, I love all this, but I can't go, move to the other side of the world and be a mentor, sponsorship is one way that they can. And it's a very small, simple way, but the impact is huge. So I know just in talking to you more that your passion is in allowing children to be seen and known, and even to know someone's name is so powerful. That they're not just some hypothetical, that this is a real person with a real story. And so I want to pull up a couple of pictures of some kids, and I want you to tell us about them. So
great.
I think we're going to have one here. This sweet baby.
Yes, this is
love this story. So tell our listeners about
this. Is one of my favorite Allies sponsorship stories. So this is Annette. She's in Peru. You can see, this is the first photo I got of her, like her first profile photo. You can see that she has that little doll in her hands. And that is one of her favorite activities, is playing with dolls. And so she got sponsored last year.
Oh my
gosh. And through her sponsorship, she was receiving things every month, and she's a part of the mentoring program. But at Christmas time, they all got a gift, and I did not orchestrate this, actually. It just happened that her gift was a doll, a brand new doll. So you can see her opening it, and it's like a big doll with pretty hair, and just like I had growing up.
The doll looks like her.
The doll looks like her, and she was not expecting it. Usually they get gifts every month, but it's things that they need, like clothes and food and school supplies, and but her face like pulls it out of the bag. She is like glowing, so happy. And now pretty much every picture I get of her, she's holding that big doll. Happy doll with the hair, and she's so thrilled about it. So I mean, she wouldn't have ever gotten that. Like the sponsorship provided that doll for her. And of course there's so much meaningful stuff that goes into sponsorship, but I love that we get to do that for them.
Mhm.
And that is something I would do for my son.
Yeah.
And that is something that I hope that every kid can have. They love dolls, and someone gets to see, like, I see you, and
Mhm.
I'm going to provide this
Yeah.
for you. So
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
that
I love it.
little
I
story.
love it.
She's still in our program, and she's still sponsored.
Yay. That's so
Mhm.
cool. All right. Last question I have for you. So, if someone's listening and they're feeling like, I want to make an impact, but I don't know how. I don't know what to do. What's my next step?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I am young and not rich, and I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I have a 1-year-old. I'm not going to be able to travel like overseas and do
Mhm.
some grandiose project right now. And those people are needed, and I'm so
Mhm.
glad that some people are. But I know there's people in my situation that are like, I
Mhm.
can't like fork out a ton, but I want to be a part of something.
Mhm.
Sponsorship is so easy,
Mhm.
and it's $50 a month, and you immediately get to be a part of something like that's already happening, that
Yeah.
God is already doing, and just hop on board.
Yeah.
And you just sign up online. All the children that we have available, you can read their little bios and their
Mhm.
photos right now. It's a tab on our
Mhm.
website, alliesyouth.org,
Mhm.
and it's super easy to click through and pray about it. Pray for what child you want to sponsor, or if you
Mhm.
have a connection in a country that you're curious in. We've set up specific situations for people, and Allies is really good about just connecting supporters to where they're feeling led.
Mhm.
And so sponsorship is something awesome
Yeah.
to be a part of.
Yeah. I love that there's a place for everyone.
Totally.
It's wherever, God, whatever God puts on your heart, but also whatever resources and time you have. So I think sometimes we feel like if you can't give a lot, that it doesn't matter.
It's not an impact.
That it's insignificant. And that is
Yeah,
very
this
much
whole
not the
hour has
case.
been me saying, that's not true.
Yeah. It's a small thing with biggest bang for the buck.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for what you're doing and for helping people get closer to the Zoe life. That's what you do. And it's your job, but what a cool job.
What a blessing that it is my job.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, for all of you, I think what I got out of this time is just Kate's reminder to all of us that Jesus didn't come just to give us breath and life. He came because he wants us to flourish, and he wants us to be fully alive and just living the kind of life that we are created for. And that's the Zoe life. And it's also what Jesus promised in John 10:10. And, that I came to give you life and life in the fullest. And that's why Kate is doing what she's doing, is to help kids move from just bios life of just surviving to Zoe life and getting just a taste of what a full life can look like.
Totally.
And so maybe today you're ready to ask yourself the same question that Kate asked when she was at Pine Cove. Who are you and what are you doing here? I think that's a question we all need to ask ourselves on a regular basis. We only have one life, and we want to be intentional of what is this for? What's my purpose? And so maybe part of the answer for you is to become a sponsor and to help one child feel seen and known and discover that they were made for more than just surviving. And so like Kate said, you can find out more about orphan sponsorship. It's alliesyouth.org/sponsor-a-child. And you can just go on and peruse the website and see some of the kids that are waiting. So my hope for you today is that you would step into the fullness of life that God wants for you. And that as you do, you will help someone else get a glimpse of that too. That's what this show is all about, is that empowered people empower people. And so that's our hope for you. We'll see you next time.